6:30, so we can begin. We call to order our regular meeting of the West Valley City Council. We note that we have all council members in attendance. With that, we will turn to Councilman Lars Nordfeldt for our opening ceremony.
Thank you, Mayor. Would everyone please rise with me and repeat the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Tonight I note we have a group of scouts here, and so we'd invite whoever's been designated to come up and introduce them, your troop number, what schools you attend, and what you're working on here tonight.
We're in Troop 1918, and we're here to finish our citizenship in the nation merit badge.
Okay, and what schools do you attend? That kind of tells us the area of the city you're in.
I go to Whittier Elementary, and they go to Hunter Junior.
Okay.
Hunter High.
Very good. Thank you. Welcome. And the rest are not scouts, I don't think. Okay. With that then, the next item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes of June 7th. Motion from the council.
Mayor, I would move for the approval of the minutes of our meeting of June 7th, 2016.
Second. Have the motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, then we'll place that for a vote. All in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passed unanimously. The minutes are approved. Next, we have our comment period. And we have one person signed up tonight, Paul Nichols. And so you have your 5 minutes. Although you usually are even more brief than that, so.
Just wonder where you're gonna put seats up for the highway or Reeds Hall highway along there. Sell seats and raise money. What's like the skating rink, about the same difference. Nothing's gonna be done either way. So I just thought I'd bring it up there because the traffic's got faster since I've been down, come here last time. That's why I'm back again. Longer, quicker, what can you say? No more officers. I've seen 2 in the last 3 weeks. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no others, we'll go on to our city manager for comments.
I don't have any tonight, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. To the city council. Okay. With that then, we'll go on to the next item on our agenda, public hearing for application ZT-8 2016. This is a zone text change on our code for defining patio covers. And we redefined that and for those who are listening in, patio cover means a single-story shade structure covering a patio or deck area consisting of a solid or open roof and structural supports attached to or detached from the primary dwelling, which is used only for recreational outdoor purposes and which is not used as a carport, garage, storage room, or habitable living space. That's the language. Interesting discussion on that. So the proposal is that this be put into the municipal code. With that introduction, get back to our agenda here. We will open that to a public hearing for anyone who is here to speak to this particular code change. Is there anyone here wanting to speak to this issue? None. Boy, this must not be the interesting topic I thought it was. And so if there is no one here, then we will close the public input portion. We will bring it back to the council. That was the application. Our action will be to consider adopting that through an ordinance, number 16-29. And so we'll bring it back to the council. Councilman Vincent.
Mayor, I probably should have brought this up in the study meeting, but I'd forgotten that we were looking at this tonight. But I would like somewhere in the language for there to be something that states that that it's open-sided. I don't know if it's just understood that they're open sides, or whether we ought to have some language in there that indicates that it's an open-sided structure. Because what we're trying to, I think, distinguish this from was just a regular outbuilding.
Well, I believe that with that minor adjustment, couldn't you include that in a motion to approve it with the additional language of with open sides? Include that in there?
I guess I'm asking that question.
Yes, we can do that, but we're going to need a little more specific direction, because if you're going to take the action tonight, then we need to know where it's going to be in the ordinance and what the wording would be. But we could, if you want to do this, continue it another week and put something in there. The other approach I was going to ask was if, I'm sure the wheels are spinning back there in the back row as Freya and Jody and Steve are there, and they might know someplace in the ordinance that either already illustrates that point or that could be added specifically. So I might actually also ask them if anybody wants to raise their hand and have had, or maybe I can see Jody's looking furiously at the ordinance, so maybe we just give her a minute and talk about something else, talk amongst yourselves first.
And I thought the ordinance said that it would not be enclosed.
Yeah, I do remember that as we were talking about the changes, that there was discussion about, the height of the wall potentially, or permissible around a patio, or there was no wall at all, or something along that language-wise. I just can't remember where it was or how it was worded, so that's what I was kind of hoping they were going to be able to come up with.
Looks
And
like
it
we're-
Jody may have that, so yeah.
Going to get some clarification on that.
And Jody Knapp with Planning and Zoning. So that is addressed in the change with the exceptions for patio covers when it's attached to the house. It does talk about no more than a 3-foot tall wall as measured from the grade. So that's in the exception portion.
So can a patio cover have walls on the side when it's detached?
Yeah, when it's detached, the code is silent on that, so we could add that in the
I think it
definition.
needs to be in there somewhere.
So would it be best to just continue this then and give you guys some time to put that in the definition?
That'd be fine with us, if that's what the council would rather, and if it's more comfortable from a definition standpoint, that's what I'd recommend. But Jody, what do you think?
I think we could either add, because it says solid or open roof, and then we could add sides to that as well.
Open
Or
sides.
add language to that, just so it doesn't get confused with the other section about the 3-foot tall sides. So it could say solid or open roof with no more than 3-foot sides and structural supports, or add something like that in that sentence.
Do you have a line location you're thinking of, Jody, that we could refer to?
Just where it is in the whereas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so-
you're talking about the resolution itself. Okay, I was looking at the ordinance language.
Well, yeah, so it starts on at 593.
Okay,
So it would just be somewhere between 594 and 595. We would just add language that would clarify that it was open-sided as well as an open roof.
as long as that's clear enough for the council, and you're willing to authorize that for us, we can add that minor language, and that's what will be signed in.
We're taking final action on it tonight. So if we don't have the language, is that a significant enough item that we should have it? I mean, we have some time here tonight. We can go on to other items with the council's approval and come back to this. Can we do that in our agenda?
Sure. And they can just tell us where in the line.
If you, maybe, if you would work on that and get the wording and the line number, and then when we make the motion, we'll just include
The
that.
amended portion.
Okay. Yep, I would just grab legal just to make sure I'm putting it in there how
He's
they want
walking
it
your
to.
way.
Okay.
Okay, sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Thanks, Jody.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay. With that then, we will change to, let's see, we don't need to do anything, we can just go on to the next item on the agenda and come back to this without, okay. All right then, we will now go to item number 8 on our agenda, which is Resolution 16-97. This actually is a bond that we are authorizing to issue. The interesting thing about it is that there is a current bond in place. So we are not changing and getting any additional funds. We're not changing how long it will take to pay it back. We are simply converting it to a new interest rate by issuing the bonds. And that will save the city a fairly significant amount of money. As I recall, it was maybe around $600,000 over the life of the bonds. So this is akin to refinancing your mortgage on your house to get the lower interest rate. Sometimes those, they allow you to get more money, but in our case, we're not. Everything stays the same, except through this reissuance of it, we get a lower interest rate and thus save the city money. That is the issue before us. And with that then, with that introduction to the council.
I move for approval of Resolution 1697.
Second.
So we have that motion properly before us. Any further discussion? Yeah, this one is a good one. I think everyone supports, well, I think the public would all support it with that. Then with that, to our city recorder to take a roll call vote.
Councilman Vincent?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ling?
Yes.
Councilman Bueller?
Aye.
Councilman Hune?
Aye.
Councilman Christensen?
Yes.
Councilman Nordfeld?
Yes.
And Mayor Bigelow?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next, we go to item number 9 on our agenda, which is new business. This is to consider application S11-2016. This is for final plat approval on property located at 4100 South Redwood Road. This covers about 13.5 acres. Some would know this as the location of the Kmart that is there. And then there's 3 other uses on that same larger piece of property. Everything except for the very southeast corner is included in this application, and they will subdivide that into 9 commercial lots, with most of those lots having access onto Redwood Road or 4100 South. And so I think that covers the basics of it. So this would change that so that they could subdivide that into various lots and I suspect bring in additional businesses there over a period of time. That is the issue before us, to approve that. So with that introduction then, to the council for comment or a motion.
Mayor, I move for approval of application S-11-2016.
Second.
It's properly before us. Any further comments? Seeing none, to our recorder for the vote.
Councilman Nordfeld?
Yes.
Councilman Christensen?
Yes.
Councilman Hune?
Aye.
Councilman Bueller?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ling?
Yes.
Councilman Vincent?
Yes.
And Mayor Bigelow?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next, we go to item 10, our consent agenda. There are 4 items on that agenda. 2 of those items relate to 7200 West and Route 201 approximately there where the Maverick station is. This is about putting in some landscaping along the side bordering the 201. In order to do that, the city has to enter into a contract with UDOT because UDOT only deals with other government entities. So the first one is to do that. The second one is we enter into a contract with Maverick because they're going to do all the maintenance. They're going to maintain it. So we have two of those pretty routine just to do some landscaping along there. Third one for a delay along 5600 West where VASA has gone in there. They've got their signs up, and this is to delay finishing up their landscaping maintenance out on 5600 West because there is the potential that the changes with the Mountain View corridor, which will also impact the intersection of 4100 South and 5600 West right-of-ways. They're expanding that intersection, and it may impact that. So rather than having to do it twice, we're going to say they can delay that for a period of time. But and it didn't say so, but implied in that, and certainly to go on record, I think the intent of the council was that once that is settled and that right-of-way issue solved, that then we'll go back to having the landscaping put in place. We don't want to have them put it in and tear it out. And then the other one is the city manager's appointment of David McEwen. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. As chair of the West Valley City Clean and Beautiful Committee. So those are our consent agenda items. Typically we take those as a group unless someone on the council wants to break them apart. With that, to the council.
Mayor, I move for approval of the 4 items on the consent agenda.
Second?
Motion is properly before us. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll place that for a vote.
Councilman Vincent?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ling?
Yes.
Councilman Bueller?
Aye.
Councilman Hune?
Aye.
Councilman Christensen?
Yes.
Councilman Norfelt?
Yes.
And Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, we're going to go back to the other item on our agenda, but just, I didn't mention for the scouts, if we seem not to discuss these two deeply, it's because we've discussed them in a previous meeting. We always address them or try to on 99+% of all items we hear the week before we hear it in this meeting. We have a study meeting a little bit earlier. So most of our questions have been answered, and we have some of those discussed very thoroughly before we get here. So just for your information. With that, we're going to go back to item 8 on our agenda, item 7, ordinance number 16-29. And I think we have our language ready.
Okay, Jody Knapp again with Planning and Zoning. So just to clarify, I'll read you that exception language again. So again, the exception was the rear yard setback for attached patio covers. So what it reads is no more than 3 feet above the finished floor elevation under the patio cover may be enclosed. So it defines patio cover as a separate structure. So we just wanted to make sure that wouldn't conflict with that section. So it would not. So the language, all we would have to do is add open sides on line 603. So the new definition in its entirety would read, patio cover means a single-story shade structure covering a patio or deck area consisting of a solid or open roof, open sides, and structural supports attached to or detached from the primary dwelling, which is used only for recreational outdoor purposes and which is not used as a carport, garage, storage room, or habitable living space.
Okay. With that then, to the council.
Mayor, I'll move for approval of ordinance number 16-29 with noted changes.
Second.
Okay. With those changes as they were read just before this motion. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll go to our city recorder for a vote.
Councilman Nordfeld,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Bueller,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
Councilman Vincent,
Yes.
and Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
I believe that concludes our business on our agenda. Any final comments before we adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Motion passed unanimously. We are adjourned.